And so the crabs themselves make sure that nobody gets out. And that's the way humans are. We're just like that too. We don't want to see somebody else successful and wealthy and driving fancy cars and having a very nice home and can, having beautiful vacations. We don't want to see that. We want, misery loves company. So we want to see that other people are like us, broke, unemployed, 5 kids, house payments, marriage on the rocks, and all the troubles that a human life can bring. Uh, you know, Generally speaking, people don't want to see other people who are doing just great. And so we pull each other back into the darkness.
Yes.
Now, now from that, we now go to science. Scientists are like that too. I mean, all kinds of professions are made up of humans, and so and all humans are alike. And so even in science, there's a whole thing in science where scientists do not want other scientists to be better than them. Every scientist wants to think that he is the top of the line and everybody else is nice, they're friends, we like them, but they're nowhere near as smart as I am. And so, that being the case, that's the way kids are in school. That's the way young teenagers are. They always think they know better than the parents. They know better because they're smart and they're cool and they're young and they've got good minds and good bodies. And the old man, the old grandfather, doesn't know anything. And so they pull themselves back into the pit. You know, once in a while you'll find a teenager or a scientist, or it doesn't apply to every single human, but once in a while you'll find a person who's either an adult, a scientist, or a writer, or a philosopher, or whatever, that is humble enough to say, wow, that's interesting. I want to know more about that. I never knew that. And talking to another scientist or talking to somebody who's got knowledge about something you don't have, and if you're humble enough, then you will not dismiss what that person is saying because you're obviously far more educated than him. You will listen to someone else's work, someone else's thoughts, and gain from them. Wow, I never knew that. That's interesting. I want to do some research on that. And then you find out, wow, I didn't know that. And then you begin to look at other things he tells you. And then you find out, wow, this is an incredibly interesting guy I'm talking to. He tells me so many things I've never heard before. That's a humble position. Unfortunately, most people are bothered with something, it's in psychology, we call it cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance means when you hear something that you've never heard before and it sounds stupid right off the bat, it sounds stupid because you've never heard such a stupid statement before. You've never heard such a silly subject before. And since you've never heard it before, it's obviously stupid. Why? Simple. Because you, not being humble, perceive yourself to be highly educated, a man about town, a world traveler. You know everything there is to know. You've had all the experience and education. So you know everything there is to know about everything. Well, pride precedes the fall. It is written in Scripture and has always been known. When you are proud and arrogant and know everything, that's when you're going to make mistakes and you're going to lose money. You're going to lose all kinds of things because you are arrogant, self-centered, egotistical, know-it-all. It's just mind-boggling when you begin to look at the world for the first time as a humble, intelligent person investigating the truth of the life we live instead of acting like you know everything. And so that's always been a problem because there's a lot of people out there who will mock and laugh. And so you begin to see, no, there is an actually well-financed, highly intelligent debunking going on to put people's minds at rest, that there's nothing out there to worry about, everything's under control, everything's just fine. No, there is nothing just fine. The world is marching itself to world wars again. There's violence all over the earth with murders and butchering people all over the earth, and drug addiction and wars and violence, uh, families breaking up. They don't want the people waking up and asking questions because there's too many people out there. And if you are the master of the house and you own the home and you're a farmer or a plantation owner, you don't want the 400 people who work every day out there in the yard and picking cotton. You don't want them getting together and finding out about your bank account and finding out about all of your dirty business that you're doing behind the scenes that nobody knows anything about. You don't want the 400 employees that are right there on your land finding out who you really are and how much money you're really making. You don't want that. So you make sure that they have plenty of alcohol. Make sure that they have a liquor store on every corner. Make sure there's plenty of liquor. Make sure the liquor doesn't go up in price. You can still buy a bottle of liquor that's almost the same price you could 40 years ago. Everything else has gone up, but liquor and bread. Why? Because you like Rome. You don't want to give the poor working class people of the world bread in circuses. You want to keep them entertained. So the first thing you need to do is make sure they can eat, because people get very nasty when they don't eat. And the government's got enough problems trying to keep you stupid and occupied without having you getting hungry and getting violent. And so to make sure that the people of the country are kept stupid, ignorant, ill-informed slaves, the government will do well to make sure you have plenty of alcohol on every corner. You will have plenty of ball games, football, basketball, tennis ball, ping pong ball, kicker ball, soccer ball, golf ball. It's always a ball game. So give the people ball games and make them and have them fight each other. One team is fighting the other team to be the best ball player. And make sure at all the ball games you have plenty of beer and sandwiches and stuff to fill your belly and then entertain you. So what I'm saying is, governments know that it is a very dangerous thing to allow the people to wake up and get an education and start thinking. Adolf Hitler said, the dictator in Nazi Germany, Adolf Hitler said, "Isn't it wonderful how most people don't think?" And I understand why he said that, because the German people, all they wanted was to fill their stomach and have a job. They don't care who their government's killing. They don't care about the war. Nobody gives a damn about it, unless, of course, you're going into it. But the people don't care as long as they see, hey, there's food now, and everybody's got a job, and we're all driving a nice new, Volkswagen car, and we got nice highways. Hey, just shut up, go with the flow. I mean, it's nice. Yeah, but he's killing millions of people around the world, and we don't care about that. We're happy. We're crabs in a bucket